Now, before we start cooking collards, one of the first things I like to do, I like to trim the ends. I want to try to get rid of as much of these stems as possible because this isn't the actually tasty part of the collard greens at all. It's just the stems. So I like to try to tear these apart first. Some people do a little bit differently. I like to tear these apart first. Tear the leaves off of the rest of the stems there. And take them apart first and toss the stems off to the side. I'm not going to make a lot of this. Probably maybe like a pound of collard greens that we're going to use for this recipe. It's not going to be anything like, for the Thanksgiving or for the cookout or anything like that. I've torn the leaves away from the stems and everything. And now next step that we have to do is we're going to have to tear these into much smaller pieces here. We don't want these large pieces, large shreds. See how big these leaves still are? I just tore them away from the leaves. Away from the stems so far. I just tore them away from the stems right now. The next thing you want to tear into smaller pieces so they're more bite size and everything like that. And so, and while doing that, we're also going to continue to clean them. So all I did basically right now is I just rinsed these greens and I tore them away from the stems. So as you can see over here, I've already started to tear some of the greens into smaller pieces right here. As you can see how they're much smaller now than what they were previously. You don't want to have these big honking leaves hanging out of your mouth while you're eating, anything like that. So you can make them in smaller pieces. And this is my own way of doing the tearing. It makes it a little bit easier. I'll take them and I'll fold them a bunch. And I'll tear them in small pieces here. I'll put them here on the other side of the sink. And then after I'm done with all this, what I'm still going to do, I'm going to rinse them again because you can't get these clean enough. I'm telling you. The cleaner they are, the better they're going to taste. And the better they're going to taste, the more compliments you're going to get for your delicious keto style collard greens. Okay, so right here is what we like to call our mise en place, which is another fancy term, French term for our ingredients. Basically what we're using to cook our collard greens. So already know we got our collard greens, already got them torn in shreds, we got them cleaned, we got them rinsed, they're ready, they're good to go. So this is the rest of the ingredients that we're going to use for our collard greens here. We have some apple cider vinegar, we have some low sodium chicken broth, we have some minced garlic, onion, which is going to be chopped, diced. We have some pepper, and we have some salt. And also, since I love garlic so much, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of garlic powder in with it. The peppered bacon. This is like the secret ingredient to this because most people use, like I said before, they cook it, boil it for a really long time, let it simmer for hours and hours and hours, and a ham hock, a couple of ham hocks, or some turkey, meat, something like that. But I like to use pepper bacon. Okay, so we're going to start by slicing and dicing our pepper bacon. I like to lay it out flat like this, nice and cold, so the knife goes through the bacon pretty well. If it's too warm, then it kind of like just squishes it around, and that's usually not good. Make sure you have a nice sharp knife. This is kind of sharp. It's okay. I mean, had sharper. I need to sharpen this knife up a bit here, but this seems to be doing the job right now. We're going to cut through that. Be sliced, and now we're going to dice it. I'm not sure if we're going to use all this. Let me see what we got when we're all done here. Okay, so here we have my jumbo cooker, which is like one of my favorite things I have in my whole kitchen. I love this jumbo cooker. It's so versatile. You can do so many things with it. As you can see, I've been using this thing throughout the years. It's got some scratches in it, but old paint's been good to me, and I'm going to keep riding her until the wheels fall off, so to speak. So we're going to take our bacon. We're going to put it into our jumbo cooker here. Now, I'm going to show you a little trick. You know when you cut onions and then it starts to make you cry and everything, it starts to release this odor and stuff like that. But I got this little handy little weapon that I use in my fight against crying with onions. It's called kitchen goggles. It's going to work well for us in the kitchen. And then you just kind of cut down on it like that. See? Much easier, very simple. Okay, so we're gonna drop this onion in here. Now, with me, probably really only supposed to use like half an onion. But I like things strong. Now, another beauty about cooking I like is like you can do it to suit you. You can get a good recipe, try it out, do it verbatim, as the recipe calls for. Then you can make adjustments for it later on to suit your own particular taste. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to let this saute, this mixture, this onion and bacon mixture. We're going to let this saute. Really want to render all its fat from out of this bacon here. You want to stir it periodically. And me, this type of stuff, I really do an eye test. There's a particular time for this. But again, adjust the recipes according to your ingredients and your particular taste. I still see some pink bacon. So I really want to let this just really render. I want to see some more fat inside this the bottom of this jumbo cooker. Because that's what's really going to season our collard greens. Okay, so now we're going to put our collard greens, our leaves in here. Again, we're going to let this cook down. It's like it was fresh spinach. And we're going to keep for a wooden spoon. Remember, wood. Don't want to mess up our cookware with metal utensils. So I'm using a wooden spatula here. Okay, everybody, so now we see that we got how our grains are fully wilted. They're losing that bright green to turn to a darker green. And this is about the point where I like it. I like it here. Then I'll start adding the other ingredients here at this point here. We got our bacon, onion, and garlic mixture blended throughout the grains. And now we're going to start to add our other stuff in there. Remember, this is about like excluding the stems, it's probably like around 1.5 pounds, maybe 2 pounds of collard greens. So what we're going to do here, we want to add about like 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar, about a full cup of low sodium chicken broth, add in our salt. I like things a bit salty, but everything's not for everybody. And I always put in a little bit more pepper because that's what I like. And some garlic powder because, like I said, everything's better with a little more garlic to it. Remember that. It's part of life. Add more garlic. We're going to blend that all in here and stir it all up. To stir it all up, I'm going to bring this whole mixture to a boil. See if you got some liquid there. And get those seasonings, dry seasonings, mixed in there really well. We don't want them packed in one spot and everything. Even though this is going to simmer for a while. You don't want it packed in one spot. We want everything, all our flavors blended throughout the entire dish. Well, I wish you guys could smell it. It smells really great. Let's scrape all of our food from off the side to the jumbo cooker. I like the jumbo cooker for something like this, even if I don't have a whole bunch, because I've made more than this before. You don't have a whole bunch. It allows, for the heat once I put the cover on to really, kind of do a convection type thing. Kind of comes up and then curls down and everything like that. I think it just does a really great job of cooking all different types of meals. This is just, like I said, this is probably my favorite piece of cookware that I have in my kitchen. Okay, we're going to stop stirring this. We're going to let this get to a boil. Nice little boil here. Still got some more fruit on the side. We won't get that off. As it comes to the boil, then we're going to cover it and we're going to simmer for about I like to go for like an hour, hour and a half. So you see we got a nice little bubbling there. We got a nice little boil. Now we're going to cover this up. Now we're going to cover this up. There we go. This has been through the wars a little bit as well. And we're going to set our timer. I'm going to go about like an hour and a half. I'm going to get really, let's say hour 20. Really nice simmer, and turn it down to a simmer. And then we'll come back and see what we have in 1 hour and 20 minutes. Okay, and so here we have it, our finished product, our collard greens with chopped pepper bacon. Again, we're using pepper bacon for flavoring instead of using what traditionally use like ham hocks, or which is fine, or turkey, which I find rather bland personally. It gives it a lot more kick. Our pot liquor is a lot more flavorful, and it's a keto-friendly dish. Keeping our bacon in there, and we're using that, because of keto, we're losing the carbs and replacing it with fat burning. We're burning fat instead of carbohydrates, and therefore keep our body in a state of ketosis. And we're going to lose weight in keto. But the main thing about keto is that you measure keto in loss of inches, not necessarily pounds, but you will lose the pounds anyway, though. Again, it worked well for me, possibly it worked well for you. But again, before you start any type of dietary change, consult your doctor. Thank you very much. See you next time. And cut.